Karatazar back again with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. And it's going to be about the mark of the beast, all right, because that's what's coming, all right. The elder Yashawamba, he did a video on a legislation that's going to be passed here shortly in regards to biometric data and bank accounts, okay. As you can see, this the title of this news article says Trump executive order will force Americans to surrender biometric data or data, however you want to say it, or lose their bank accounts. And people, you know, for the love of money, people do evil things, all right. Let's see. I know it's in 1st or 2nd Timothy, the 6th chapter. All right, this is 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. It says, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. This is in NLT. Let me go to the KJV. I don't know how to change it back. But it says here, for the love of money is the root of all evil, while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows, all right? The piercing from those many sorrows, most importantly, is going to come from that thermonuclear missile, because people love money so much, they are willing to submit themselves to this beast system by giving over things such as your iris scan, your fingerprints, okay, your footprints. As you can see in this picture that the elder did a video on, your facial features, eyes, ears, fingerprints, DNA. What else is there in this picture? Your dental records. I think that's a ring, okay? All right. I remember when I was in the Army doing stuff with Special Forces, before I went on the deployment, they came in with the an iris scanner, you know, in case something happened to me, for them to identify who I was. They scanned my eyes, all right, with their biometric collecting data device, okay? And then when you get a clearance, you have to, you know, do your fingerprints and all that other stuff. But nonetheless, this type of technology, as far as collecting your biometric data, is going to be tied into, you know, the use of your bank account, okay? And I don't want to play all of what he said and what he talked about in his video. You can go watch it yourself, all right? But people will give up their so-called quote-unquote freedoms to have money to, you know, pay for their day-to-day living, okay? To pay for their continuous wickedness living in this city, living in this place, living in America, okay? And or living in the world, because just earlier this year, or late last year, I think it was somewhere over there in the UK, they were requiring everybody to have some type of biometric, I can't remember what it was called, basically giving up their biometric information, okay? But let's play a little bit of his video.
Force Americans to surrender biometric data or lose their bank accounts. All right. Trump executive order will force Americans to surrender biometric data or lose their bank accounts. Order will force Americans to surrender biometric data or lose their bank accounts. All right. Trump executive order will force Americans to surrender biometric data or lose their bank accounts. All right. And remember, just about a week or a few weeks ago, Trump, you know, summoned, you know, all of the bank leaders together, you know, and had a meeting, a private meeting, you know, over a terrifying new threat to the global financial system. You see that? And pretty much that was this new program that could be used
all right, for someone to do evil. You know, hackers can get a hold of this technology and many other things. Now, okay, there's legislation on the books, but when you look it up, it doesn't exactly say you are going to have to surrender your biometric data. But we know this devil is very crafty, okay? And
let me see the commentaries. I think it's the John Brown commentary. All right, the John Brown commentary. Let me see. In the readout of the microchip, because that's what this is going to lead to, there were 9 levels of information that designers wanted included. They were name and image of or picture of your face. They wanted social security numbers with extra international digits. A fingerprint identification was also to be included, which goes into biometrics. All right, same thing as the image of your face, just like what you see here with this Edomite guy. All right. It has here also physical description, family history, address, criminal record, occupation, income tax information. Okay, these are some things that could possibly be placed in the RFID chip to identify who you are in this new world that they're building. Okay.
Pretty much, the banks are now saying that we need to know exactly, all right, who we're dealing with and who's banking with us. We need to know more about you, all right, leading you more into that MOTB system.
pretty much the banks are now saying that we need to know exactly, all right, who we're dealing with and who's banking with us. We need to know more about you, all right, leading you more into that MOTB system, okay? And this is all centered around peace and safety, because in their eyes, there's illegal immigrants who have bank.
Let me see. Peace and safety. Yep. Okay. So it was the 5th chapter. I was wrong. Salakia. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. It says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." The brother just mentioned that they're going to be saying all peace and safety in regards to this and security in regards to that, but we know what the scriptures say, all right? The Lord's going to come at any minute, all right? We don't know when, we just hope soon, okay? But we can see things that are leading to prophecy coming about, which means the Lord is going to come right after, okay?
We need to know if you're a U.S. citizen. Now, when you read it, all right, it says Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, or another psychopath, has confirmed that a Trump administration executive order requiring U.S. banks to verify
accounts. And we need to know if you're a U.S. citizen. Now, when you read it, all right, it says Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, or another psychopath, has confirmed that a Trump administration executive order requiring U.S. banks to verify citizenship for every customer, new and existing, is actively in process. Okay, and this is getting ready to be the in thing, even, you know, for Google accounts, email, YouTube. You're going to have to basically give them more information about yourself. And eventually you're going to have to give them your biometrics. You're going to have to give them more and more and more until they have everyone integrated into this new digital Tower of Babel, where they can surveil, you know, your movements, your thoughts, what you're about, and pretty much, you know, refuse you access to services based upon your beliefs, who you are, all right, and your mindset concerning the government, who the small hats. You know, pretty soon they'll have access to all of that information with this digital Tower of Babel. Okay, and they're going to take it a step further
which
after
this
Black
is
Swan
a
events
major prophecy.
and the need to, identify everybody under the skin, right? We know it's going to
And
lead to the
if you lock down your
MOTB.
banking system because you won't comply with what it is the government is asking you or saying for you to comply with, right? How much more will it come to chance that you won't be able to, you know, participate in society if you don't have that CHIP? Because this is what it's all going to lead to. They are phasing away money. When I say phasing away money, let's just talk about paper money. And then first and foremost, they did it with the lowest denomination of coins. They started with the penny. The nickel is going to be next. The dime, the quarter, then eventually the dollar. Okay? So this is Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right? That mark is what they're pushing to give, all right, as the new digital, as the new form of currency. Is going to go under your skin, okay? So this is a central bank digital currency tracker, okay? This is on AtlanticCancel.org, okay? And it says here, what is a central bank digital currency? A CBDC is virtual money backed and issued by a central bank. As money and payments have become more digital, the world's central banks have realized that they need to provide a public option or let the future of money pass them by. And if you look up at this image, that looks like it's in a bunch of data centers. This is a data center, okay? That's what this looks like to me. And guess what they're building all over America? Data centers, okay? Guess who's going to be programmed into that data center? You. All right, you and your whereabouts, your likes, your dislikes, whatever it is that you do, you don't do. All right, you're going to be programmed to this data center. Okay, that's what it looks like to me. This looks like a data center. All right, rolling through the background, where behind it says Central Bank Digital Currency Tracker. So now let's scroll. Okay, this says it was updated last year. But look at most of the countries, they're in a pilot phase of their digital currency. And only 3 countries have launched a digital currency, okay? And 6 of the countries are in the other phase, okay? And now when I read the other phase, the information that came with it or behind it, I really didn't understand it. But it says something along with Trump not accepting the CBDC, all right? Let's see if I can pull it back up again. It's not letting me pull it back up. All right, but you can see that this is what the world is headed towards, okay? All right, this war with Iran is only tightening world resources, which eventually is going to have people bowing the knee to this beast system in order for them to feed themselves and their families. All right, for the love of money, they're going to take this this device, okay, which is going to be implanted in your skin, okay. All right, let's see. All right, so this is what it said. Let me see. In the United States of America, all right, let's see. It says, in January 2025, the Trump administration signed an executive order on strengthening American leadership in the digital financial technology. The order directed all agencies to halt any ongoing work on digital dollar or CBDC, making the U.S. the only country to have officially banned a CBDC. I don't know how true that is. I doubt that's true, okay, because you got stablecoin that's backed by Donald Trump, okay. It says the New York Federal Reserve remains involved in a project Agoria, which aims explore how tokenization can enhance wholesale cross-border payments. The U.S. categorized as other, given the ban on retail CBDC. All right, I'm not too familiar with some of this lingo and what it may mean. It says the Federal Reserve has stated that Project Agoria or Agora is not a wholesale CBDC project. However, other central banks involved in Agoria, if I'm saying the name wrong, Salakia, are not as definitive about this statement. All right, so there's some tricks going on with America, okay? It says here, key findings, 137 countries and currency unions representing 98% of the global GDP are exploring a CBDC. All right, so the majority of the world, 98% of the global gross domestic product, okay, are working on a CBDC. All right, which is going to be backed by the MOTB. All right. And this elder's video goes more into, Scott Bessent, who did wickedness and crashing money in Japan and in the UK, and he's the Treasury Secretary of Treasury for America. And with his track record, all he's going to do, this individual, Scott Bessent, is going to crash the dollar. All right, because that's what he's done based on the information that this Edomite lady right here spoke about in regards to his let me see if I can say the word right. Basically what he was doing in these other countries, all right, as individuals that was set up to have some ties to financial gain or financial means, okay? All right, maybe not gain, but he did gain, him and George Soros, okay? But as you can see here, it says Scott Bessent collapsed the British pound in 1992, the Japanese yen in 2013, and the Iranian rial in 2025. Is the U.S. dollar next? And this lady did a deep dive on homie, exposed him, all right? Esau's being exposed. But on top of him being exposed, biblical prophecy is happening, okay? So if you decide, you don't trust in the Lord, if you decide you want to, trust in Esau and trust in this beast system, which is ran by NATO and the EU, okay? The Lord got a special surprise for you. This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. I'm going to read it in NLT. It says, the third angel followed them, shouting, anyone who worships the beast and his statue, or who accepts his mark on their forehead or on their hand, must drink the wine of Yahweh's anger. It has been poured full strength into the cup of Yahweh's wrath, and they will be tormented with fire and burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and the Lamb. The smoke of their torment will ascend forever and ever, and they will have no rest day nor night. For they have worshipped the beast and his statue and have accepted the mark of his name. This means the Yahweh's holy people must endure persecution patiently, obeying his commandments and maintaining their faith in Yahweh Shai. So we got to maintain our faith in the Lord. When shit hits the fan, when this is being pushed onto you by celebrities, by your family, by your peers, by pressures of society, by not having anything to sustain yourself with, we got to have faith in the Lord. The scriptures tell us to be as pilgrims when you go reading in 2nd Esdras, okay? Let me see if I can grab that right quick. Because we're going to have to be that way. Let me see if I spelled it right. Pilgrim, be as pilgrims. All right, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and verse 37, it says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack: famine, the sword, pestilence." All right. As a woman with child in the ninth hour bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of birth pangs, with of birth great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they are not slack a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. All right, let's look up that word pilgrim. Can't look it up there. Let's see, pilgrim. A pilgrim, a person traveling to a holy place. And we are traveling to a holy place, man. We trying to make it into the kingdom on the first go round, okay? All right, a traveler, generally a wayfarer, okay? It says a stranger, a foreigner. Yeah, we're gonna be a stranger. We're gonna be foreign, because guess what? We not Lord willing, we don't succumb to taking after, this system and going into taking this RFID chip, okay? Pilgrimage, it says right here, an act of journeying through a strange country to a holy place. And we are journeying through a strange country. America is a strange country, okay? Let's look at that word strange right quick. Strange. It says foreign, of another country, unknown, familiar, not belonging to the place where found. And we don't belong here. We belong with the Heavenly Father and His Son, okay? And it's only going to get more strange, okay, as you see the world falling apart. But don't take that chip, man. Lord will you edify to the next time. Shalom.